For years, I thought that something was wrong with me, till I realized that I was an empath, absorbing everyone's energies. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 signs that you are an empath and also how to reclaim your energy. Based on my experience, when I first realized I was an empath, I thought it was an exciting thing to be able to feel other people's emotions and read the room and all that jazz. And while I think that it is a strength or something positive to have, when you are an empath that only is able to feel the emotions and needs of other people and not yourself, that's when things don't go well for you, because you end up not taking care of yourself and the whole bit. So anyway, I've been on my journey of reclaiming my own energy. I am still an empath, but I am, what would you even call it? I am reclaiming myself empath. Anyways, I'll continue on. So, first sign that you are an empath is that you have a feeling or a sense of obligation, of responsibility to others, a duty before yourself. You feel drawn to everyone else's feelings more than your own. And most likely at the end of the day, maybe most days, you end up feeling drained and you don't exactly know why. So for this, once you start to become aware that you are highly affected by everyone's emotions and needs, the key in reclaiming your energy in this is just to start to become more aware of situations that draw this type of experience out of you, like you focusing on other people's energy, right? Start to become more aware of when you're doing this in the moment or at the end of the day when reflecting about your interactions with other people. So especially when we just start to become aware of something intellectually in the moment, or at least after a situation, it's harder to acknowledge it in the moment sometimes. So maybe start to reflect at the end of your day about situations that you had where you ended up feeling uncomfortable, any sort of uncomfortability within you. Start to acknowledge those interactions with other people, what happened, and start to break it down. And you'll start to recognize that you were feeling uncomfortable because you were feeling the discomfort of other people, and it wasn't necessarily yourself. So again, the more aware you become of yourself and your environment and the situations that create this need to feel other people's feelings, then the more you start to become more in control eventually of your reactions or responses to your environment. And the more you can start to bring yourself back to the present moment inside of yourself and see how you're feeling. Sign number 2, you avoid confrontation like the plague. So for me, this was huge for me. So whenever I had feelings that were making me feel uncomfortable about a friend or somebody, something that normally, emotionally healthy people are able to express their needs and set their boundaries. Empaths that aren't as mentally healthy or emotionally healthy will keep their needs and their feelings to themselves. Because, let's say for myself, I would be afraid to make somebody upset, right? But really what's happening here is that I'm not afraid of making them upset. I'm afraid of feeling their discomfort with my feelings, because not everyone is going to respond in the way that you want them to respond. And the way they're responding is because of their own internal stuff, their own projections, their own unconscious their own insecurities, their own baggage, right? So the truth is you don't want to feel the discomfort. So I would end up just keeping my feelings to myself, okay? So for me, I had to start becoming or paying more attention to my own needs and feelings, but also valuing and respecting them just as much as I would have done for someone else, if not more. So this is how we start to change our focus, is from the other person's feeling, focusing on them, versus maybe after a situation or after the day, sitting with yourself and reflecting upon your feelings of the day and respecting and valuing yourself. So start to practice that by yourself first, because that is the easiest way. Instead of sitting there at the end of the day and thinking, oh, I hurt that person's feelings, I did this to that person, oh, when I said, oh, I didn't do this, and oh, I made that person feel upset, and now they're angry at me. Bring your focus into yourself and ask yourself, whatever I did to make that person upset, was that my intention to make them upset? No? Okay. So then that came from a pure place, a place of just being me, from an aligned place. I didn't mean to hurt them. So that means they're hurt because of something within them that they perceived from me, right? So breaking down a situation that happened during the day, but including yourself in that situation, and ask how you felt and where you came from in that moment, right? Instead of just focusing on the needs and feelings of other people. So when you start to do this by yourself and you break down situations, you start to shine a light on you. And that's what I started to do, right? And it's not just about shining the light on you. It's really about embodying and practicing being non-judgmental with yourself and respecting your boundaries, right? Just like I said before, just as much as you did for other people, you have to do that for yourself, okay? And once you start practicing this more on your own, then when you're in the moment and you're with people, right? And say I say something to somebody, okay? And it's coming from a pure place, a place where I'm not, it's not coming from my unconscious. I'm saying it from a good place. And the person perceives what I say as a threat and they get upset with me. So in that moment, what we can do is we can bring presence to the feeling that we're feeling in that person. As soon as we acknowledge us feeling anxiety from their feelings, we can acknowledge it, but then bring our focus back to ourselves and ask ourselves quickly, is this coming from an aligned place? Did I mean to hurt them? Nope. Quick dialogue in your head. Take a deep breath, and if you're able to handle it in the moment, right, you can say, I apologize that you're upset, but this is not my intention. And this is where I draw the line. And you're just setting your boundary in that moment, or for whatever the conversation or situation is about. The point is bringing awareness in the moment and redirecting your energy and your focus back to yourself, okay? All right, so sign number 3 that you're an empath. Your train of thought is bombarded by what I need to do for other people. In the past, and I'm definitely getting better at it, my mind was constantly thinking about what I needed to do for other people. Let's say, for example, my parents, right? Being a parentified child where I was pretty much the parent and my parents didn't always make the most responsible decisions, I just became this nagging, worrying person that was always thinking about, what are my parents doing? Calling them, what are you doing? And if they're not doing what they should be doing, then I'm telling them, oh, you should do this, you should do that, or if they were suffering or feeling not good and I knew how to help them, would always express to them, well, this is what I think you should do, because in that moment I'm taking on their feeling of suffering or struggle. And so I would just, do what an empath would do. Try to get them to do what I think they should do. Because if they're doing what I think they should do, then they'll be happy. Then if they're happy, I can feel their happiness, and then I'll be okay, right? See how this doesn't allow anybody to just live out their journey and learn or not learn their lessons. Like I've said before in some videos, we are all here together, but we're on our own unique individual journeys and learning lessons and growing or not growing or growing at our own pace, right? So as an empath, to be a more healthier empath, we need to learn to let go of the expectations we have of other people, because and start to become okay with somebody maybe that we love not being okay and not feeling okay, but not to take on and absorb those feelings, to learn to separate, okay? To detach from their experience, to focusing on me and my being and my journey here, right? So how you can start to, so that was like an example of like having your mind just totally focused on the needs and like what other people are doing or what other people are thinking, going home and like from work and ruminating about situations that happened at work, or you're angry that people aren't doing their job, and this happened and that happened. Why can't this person do this, or why can't this person do that? I feel like being an empath too is like you're always trying to control your environment in many different ways to better suit your needs and to make you feel calm or whatever way you want to feel. And so the key in shifting that, and shifting always thinking about the external and thinking about what other people are doing, right, is bringing your focus back again, like I always say, to your own self-awareness, right? Instead of calling my parents and being like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right? I started to focus on, what can I do for me? What do I need? I was out spewing what I thought other people should be doing. Because whenever they weren't doing well, I felt this need to just tell them, do this, so that they could do better, so that I could feel better. I have no control, you have no control over what other people do. So your focus needs to be on yourself. I've been doing yoga for the past 10 years. I've started to do breath work a lot. I like to go for drives in my car and turn on songs that I love singing, because I love singing. I take dance classes. These are all practices, self-awareness, things for myself, for my own being, to cultivate the happiness and the peace and the tranquility that I would want to project onto other people, like that I wanted my parents to feel. Instead of trying to make other people feel a certain way, make yourself feel that way, because your only responsibility is yourself and nobody else, okay? So start to cultivate some practices for you. What is it that you want to do for you, that you know will be good for you, okay? So that is the end of my video. I hope that helped somebody, and thank you for watching. We will see you next time.